Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Math6, worksheet number 4. Sorry it's been a while. I've been busy with math tutoring, but here we go. So remember, you could sign up. I'll have the link in the description if you'd like to see these before I do them. You can do them yourself. Without further ado, let us begin. Pre-algebra proportions. Good question. This is it's pretty advanced for pre-algebra. Like, it'll be the hard question in a chapter. Nonetheless, you should know what to do when you see this. So we see an equal sign, fraction equals fraction. If you ever see this setup, what we're going to do is called the butterfly method. That's what most of these kiddos think of it. So we're going to do this times this, and you can see the butterfly. So we have 2 times x plus 2. You always want to put like the single number first, otherwise it would look weird. So 2 times x plus 2 equals 5 times 3x minus 1. There you go. Usually, with my experience, that's like you just need to know to do butterfly. After that, usually students know how to do this, like from here, okay? So from here, we're going to do some, I call them rainbows, distributive property. 2 times x, 2x, 2 times 2 plus 4 equals 5 times 3x, 15x, 5 times negative 1, negative 5. Alrighty. Now we want to get the x by itself. We could start by getting x's to one side. So I'm going to subtract this 15x, like this. Whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other. Boom. 2 minus 15, negative 13x. Copy everything down. There you go. Now we want to move this 4 over. We're going to minus 4 on both sides. So we got negative 13x equals negative 9. And now the last move is we're going to get rid of the negative 13. It's multiplying the x, so we're going to divide. Dividing is usually always the last step. So if you say divide too early, you know it's probably not the move. So we got x equals 9 over negative 13. Overall, negative over negative is a positive. And then does 9 over 13 reduce? No. Okay, 13's prime. Nothing does it. That is our final answer. I'm a little cautious that that's a weird answer, but I'm sure it's right. If it's wrong, I'll let you know in the description, but I think that's good. 9 over 13. I'm just doing a quick double check. I have to. Yeah, looks good. That is the answer. All right, that was pre-algebra, proportions. Now on to algebra 1, perpendicular lines. So let's see. Find the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is just y equals mx plus b. That's the classic. Everyone knows that one. That is perpendicular to the line y equals negative 1/3 x plus 4 and passes through this point. So this is actually a very popular SAT question. The key word here is perpendicular. And you really need to understand this question. They want you to create a line that's perpendicular to this one. Okay? Now, we got to grab the slope from this line. Here, I'll just put a y equals here. It got cut off. The slope of this line is right here. It's always next to the x. So the slope is negative 1/3. Now we need the perpendicular slope to that, okay? The perpendicular is this flip and switch. So we're going to flip the fraction and make it positive because it's negative. So for the flip and switch, that would be 3 over 1, and we know it's positive. So m really equals 3 for our question. Now listen, if it said parallel, we would have used the negative 1/3 because parallel lines have the same slope. But because it said the word perpendicular, we flip and switch. Okay? So slope equals 3, and we have a point. So this is the classic, we have a point and a slope question. So when you have a point and a slope, there's a couple ways you could do this. I'm going to do this the way that I've been seeing most kids do it nowadays. We're going to make our y equals mx plus b. And our slope is 3, so I'm going to put the 3 in there. Okay, m is 3. I put the 3. Now we're going to put in our point to find the b. So this is our answer if we knew what b was. So we're going to go on a little side mission and find out what b is. So check this out. Y is -5 equals 3 times x, which is 2, plus b. Okay? If you're not familiar with this way, the other way is point-slope form. You could use that formula if you'd like. You should get the same answer, okay? I'm not going to do both. Take too long. So, 3 times 2 is 6, plus b. Subtract 6 on both sides. b equals -11. And we're going to plop that bad boy right there. So our final equation is y equals 3. Oh, sorry, not there. Whoopsies. The one under it. That was my bad. Right there. 3x minus 11. Very good question for SAT. Not even, not everything's about the SAT. It's a good question for all of math. Okay, like that's pretty standard, this question. And that is correct. 3x minus 11. All right, the next one we got is geometry. Similar triangles. In the triangle below, line segment DE is parallel to BC. Cool. Usually that symbol is this. The arrows. I don't know why they did the ticks. Find the length of BC. So BC has the x on it. So they want us to find that x. So I have something to say about this problem, but I'll save it for later. We're just going to get right into how to do this. So we want to look at the two triangles. We got one triangle right here. But then we got the bigger triangle right here. So similar triangles, we have to, I'm sorry, that doesn't look the best. We have to make a correct proportion from small triangle to big triangle. So we're going to start with this 4. This small triangle is 4, well, for that side. And then the big triangle is not 6, but it's actually 6 plus 4, which is 10. So think about it. Small triangle is 4. Big triangle is 10. Equals, this is proportion. Same thing as question 1, pre-algebra. Then we pick another small side from the small triangle, which is 5. Big side of the triangle is x. That one's pretty obvious. Can't mess that up. And then from here, ooh, we've been in this. This is the ultimate question. It's going over so much. From here, we do butterfly. So let's do this. Cross multiplies the other word, if I didn't say that yet. So 4 times x equals 50. Bam. And then we're going to divide by 4. Divide by 4. X equals, I'm just going to use my calculator. 50 divided by 4. 12.5. And that's what x is. Now, something to note, okay? This might go down a rabbit hole. It is kind of important, especially if you're in geometry. When there's parallel lines like this, I'm shocked this question didn't put these numbers on the side, like the 5 and the x. If that was the case, okay, don't really worry about this unless you're like, it's good knowledge, but it's extra, right? If you just want the answer, there it is. If this was the case, because of the parallel lines, you would actually set up this proportion. You could say 4 over 5 equals 6 over x. It only works for when the lines are parallel. But that's not what we had, okay? The question was a little different. So in essence, they were tricking us, okay? So for this one, you had to do, so this isn't the right way. For this one, you had to do like what we did down here. Okay, cool. Algebra 2, solve the equation for x. Be sure to check for extraneous solutions. That's nice of them. Sometimes they won't say that. Okay, this is a little bit on the easier side for this chapter, but it's good nonetheless. So, number 1, you see a square root house. The first step is to get it to get rid of it. So you need it to be by itself on the equal sign, which it is. Okay? If there was something extra, you'd have to move it. But that's it. What we're going to do is we're going to square both sides. That will get rid of the house. I call that the square root house. So when we square it, the house is just gone. Most students know that, so I'm not worried. And then x squared. And now we're here. So, bottom line, when you see this in your Algebra 2, x squared should blink at you like, oh my gosh, we got a quadratic. Whatever you see that squared term, we must set it equal to 0. So, we're going to move these terms over here. I like to keep x squared positive. So I'm going to minus 2x. I'm going to minus 15. Okay, that'll go away. That means we got 0 equals. None of these mix, so I'm just going to write it out. X squared minus 2x minus 15. Voila. Now what we got to do is factor it if we can. We would love if it factors. That's the easiest. I do the big X method. I'm going to kind of go fast with it. This is, since you're in Algebra 2, you should know how to do this, so we're not going deep. Two numbers that multiply to negative 15, add to negative 2. That would be negative 5 and 3. They multiply to negative 15, they add to negative 2. Over x, they don't reduce. There's other ways to do this. If you get these parentheses, you're good. And for my students that don't want to do this, you could use quadratic formula. It does take longer, but some kids like it, so whatever. Set each parenthesis equal to 0. X equals 5. X equals negative 3. Now we're not done. We got to make sure we check for extraneous. I'm going to erase this. So we're going to plug in our answers, okay? So I'm going to plug in my x equals 5. We'll do it over here. Square root 2 times 5 plus 15 equals 5. I'm going to do some mental math. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 15 is 25. Square root of 25 is 5. They equal. Check mark. That's a good answer. Now let's check that negative 3. Never assume that one of them would not work, right? Both of them could work, technically, so never rule that out. Anything could happen, basically. So, I plugged in the negative 3. I'm going to do my math. 2 times negative 3, negative 6. Negative 6 plus 15 is 9. Square root of 9 is 3. Do those equal? They do not. X equals negative 3 is known as an extraneous solution. You would not put it as your answer. The answer is just x equals 5. Okay. Next. Pre-calc. Okay, this is some unit circle looks like. I'm going in blind, so I might have to think. You might watch me for like a minute with a face. Evaluate the exact value of the expression without using a calculator. Okay. Arc cosine of negative 3 over 5. So for this, whenever I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm like a little in the air with this one. I know cosine is negative in the second quadrant. For cosine, if you see arc, it's always this, 1 and 2, okay? We're going to make our triangle. This is theta. So it's adjacent over hypotenuse, so that's, the hypotenuse is always positive, 5. And the adjacent's negative 3. Now that makes the opposite 3, 4, 5, because it's a right triangle. You could do Pythagorean theorem if you want, but if you're in pre-calc, you know this, 3, 4, 5. So that's a 4. Okay? And now, so what our triangle that we just made kind of is what we did here, okay? So all this is the triangle. It basically just tells you like theta's setup. And now to do the tan of this, we just have to do tan. So like, what is tan? It's opposite over adjacent. So the opposite's 4 over negative 3. That's it. You could write negative 4 over 3. Same thing. Cool. I believe that's right. I'd have to, I'm going to check if it's right on the answer key, but I'm sure that's right. SAT prep, systems with no solution. Oh, that's kind of like a... Oh, no, no. Okay, I see where it's going. I was like, is the answer already no solution? We don't have to do anything. For what value of the constant c will the systems of equations have no solution? Okay. For my students that would use Desmos, I am not very, Desmos is good, but it can't do all the problems, right? They're catching on to you. This would be one where you could create a slider and then move the slider around and then see where the lines are parallel, if you know what I'm talking about. If you could do that, great. I'm here to help you if you only had a pencil in your hand and you like this way better, okay? So in order for it to be no solution, we know that everything would have to cancel. Okay, this would have to cancel, these two. We're doing elimination. So we could focus on the y's. So in order for them to cancel, I would have to multiply the top by -2. Okay? Couple rainbows. So we have -2cx minus 6y equals -10. I'm going to copy the bottom down. Bam. And now, I know the y's are going to cancel. That's good. Now, I need these to cancel. The only way for this to cancel, you kind of want to you only care about this. What would cancel out with a 4x? A -4x. So we can basically set this equal to -4. Because if this blue highlight was -4, they would cancel, right? So I'm going to say -2c equals -4. And then just solve for c. And this is all the work you have to do. C would equal 2. And that's it. All right. Awesome. If you like this, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're interested in this, look in the description to sign up. You'll get a PDF emailed to you, and then you could click these little watch solutions. They'll be on the timestamp of the video, so you could check your answer with me. Okay? Answer keys in the description too. All right. Have a good one, guys.